New year, new channel name, How to Train Your Gavin. I hope you like it. Tough luck if you do not. It's very apt that my first video under my new channel name would be my 2019 wrap-up and 2020 goals, because one of my biggest goals for 2020 was to change my channel name. It can be a little bit hard for people to pronounce my surname, which is absolutely fine. Also have a little bit of a cold still. It has not been the best time for me, but here I am, 2020. Also have some fairy lights on the back there. I didn't realise that they would actually be like Christmas lights. So they're going to be up all year round unless I get bored of them and take them down. But it was a lot of effort to put them up, so they're staying. They were supposed to be, you know, clear fairy lights that had no colour, just so that the colour balance of my videos would try and stay the same. I still don't know how to work this camera, but 2020 is going to be the year I figure it out, okay? So welcome back to my first video of 2020. I have so many videos that I want to make, but I haven't been well. I've been working full time and it's just, I haven't had the time, so I apologise. But there's going to be some more content now. I feel like I'm going to get my flow back. So yeah, my name is Gavin and welcome to How to Train Your Gavin. Yeah, I do want to point out though, first of all, before I get into all this, sorry, I keep going off on tangents. This is what you should expect from me in 2020. Also, take a shot every time I mention 2020 in this video. Also don't, because that'll be a lot. I do want to mention I got so many great channel name recommendations on Twitter. Like, I love them so much. There were some that I think probably catered towards too much of it being middle grade, and I am predominantly a middle grade reader, as my stats will show. But I don't want my channel to just be middle grade, and I don't want people to think that I'm just going to be middle grade, so I didn't want to put that in the title. But there were some really clever, amazing titles that I just absolutely loved. But I think How to Train Your Gavin, yes, it does allude to How to Train Your Dragon, obviously, because that's where I got it from. I literally just looked over to my Blu-rays and I was just looking, and then I saw How to Train Your Dragon, and I was like, well, dragon kind of rhymes with Gavin, so I did almost call it a dance with Gavins, because I do seem to put a musical number in almost every video, so, but no. How to Train Your Gavin, it does allude to the whole middle grade book series by Cressida Cowell, which I haven't actually read yet, but I do love the movies, and it is that nod to middle grade, but it doesn't mean I am strictly middle grade. So I'll get into my stats then. I've had to calculate all of this myself because Goodreads doesn't show the exact page number. Goodreads does add a lot of pages at the end of books sometimes, and I know with the George R.R. Martin books there is a lot of page count at the end of those books, which I haven't included in my total page count for what I've read this year. So I'm going off on the exact numbers that I have done myself. My Goodreads goal in 2019 was 100 books. I've never ever hit that number before. In 2018 I only read 22 books, so that should be an indication of where I thought I would kind of find myself in 2019. My Goodreads goal was 100 and I read a total of 124 books in 2019, which I'm really happy with. I'm so glad I managed to beat the 100 book challenge that I set myself. Don't think I will ever do that again because that was really hard, really stressful, sometimes not worth the hassle, but it meant I read a total of 44,198 pages, which again is based off the numbers that I did myself. 55 of the books that I read were middle grade, to no surprise to anyone. 37 of them were young adult and 32 of them were adult. So it was kind of, yes, middle grade was more, but with young adult and adult not being too far behind really. It's not as, I mean, it's not balanced or anything, but it surprised me that I didn't like have a bigger divide between YA and middle grade, so I'm really happy with that. For my star ratings, I rated 30 books 5 stars, I rated 14 books 4.5 stars, I rated 33 books 4 stars, I rated 17 books 3.5 stars, I rated 14 books 3 stars, rated 10 books 2.5 stars, I rated 5 books 2 stars, and I only rated 1 book 1.5 stars. I didn't give any book 1 star, and I didn't DNF any either. I saw all of them through. This rating system is a bit different to what I've been kind of using. I've been doing things a bit more exact. If you watch any of my monthly ranking videos, you'll know I do like 4.75, 4.80 kind of ratings, which somebody did ask how I rated things, but there isn't exactly an exact science to it. I just kind of did it because so many books were getting the same rating, so I just wanted to change it up a little bit more so I could rank them better. That system, by the end of the year, because I read so much, again didn't work for me really. So I'm going to be changing it up again in 2020. I also want to use the co-pile rating system that G has made over at Book Roast. She literally just uploaded a video about how she rates her books, and I've always been in awe of her book rating system. It is what I need because I'm reading so much, I'm rating so many books the same, but I think sometimes I prefer a 4-star book over another 4-star book, like dramatically. But it's just all the same because there isn't much space for the reading to breathe. So I want to use Jay's co-pile system in 2020. It will help so much with my reading and how I rank books. I think I've already done it for a couple of my 2020 books that I've read so far, and I'm addicted now to finding out what the co-pile rating would be for all of the books that I've read. And I'm going to end up going into a black hole of doing that. So yeah, definitely check out Jay's video explaining that rating system because it's so great. And she has a downloadable spreadsheet for you to use as well if you want to do it as well. And it's just brilliant. I love it. Getting back to the stats, the top 4 genres that I read were fantasy. I read 66 books. And then surprisingly contemporary, which was 22 books. And then horror, 9 books, and dystopian, 8 books. I'm not surprised because the dystopian books I've been reading have been really, really good. Like, some of my favourite books of the year have been dystopian, which really surprises me because I thought dystopian was a big thing like a decade ago, but apparently not. Horror, I wish was higher because I do love horror books, but I didn't make that much of an effort with them. I did have the goal of reading more Stephen King last year, and I did. I read more Stephen King than I've ever read before, but I slacked so much with that towards the end of the year, so get to that in a minute. So my reading months in terms of book count, the best reading month I had was in November for Believeathon, where I read 15 books. My worst reading month was in February, where I only read 6 books. And looking back now, like, I'm not sure why it was so low, but I didn't really start reading so much until I joined BookTube, and that was in April. So I think January, February, March were my 3 lowest months, and October. But October was a very busy, hectic month for me. My best reading month in terms of page count was July, where I read 4,701 pages in the 1 month. And my worst reading month again was February, where I only read 2,525 pages. But no surprise there because I did only read 6 books. In terms of average rating, my best reading month for averages were December and January. So December just gone, I had an average rating of 4.25, and in January I had a rating of 4.24. So I started the year so well, ended the year really well, and in the middle it was like a really rocky kind of relationship. So my worst reading month in average was April with 3.52. I'm not exactly too sure why that is. I did read a few disappointing reads in April, which I'll not mention because I will probably have a most disappointing books of 2019 coming soon. Not a worst video because I don't have that many feelings towards the books I didn't like, so it's just going to be disappointing. Sorry to break your heart. And those are the only stats that I really wanted to share with you. I don't really know what else you guys want from me. What do you want? I don't really know what else I could have mentioned, but if you want to know anything else, leave a question in the comments. I'm sure I can answer it somehow. So, 2020, my reading goals. Well, for the books to read, I only want to aim for 80 this year. I do want more time to do other things. I'm still on season 3 of Gilmore Girls. Like, because I've been reading that much, I've barely been able to watch Gilmore Girls. So I am still on season 3 of that. I make it a priority to finish Gilmore Girls and also watch the shows that I love because I have barely been watching anything, and because I've been dedicating most of my time to reading. And I want to play more video games. I want to get out into the sun. You know, I probably have anemia because I have a vitamin C deficiency. Like, yeah, so read a bit less. And I think 80 books is still quite high, but because I do want to get through a lot of specific kind of middle grade books, it'll be really easy to get to. So I've set it at 80. I might lower it, but I think 80 is very achievable. I'm definitely not trying to aim for the 100 again. A top priority of mine as well is to finish reading series that I'm in the middle of. I will do a video for that as well. but there are some that I started in 2019 that I do need to finish, even if it's just 1 or 2 more books left to read. I still want to get them done. There's quite a few of them as well, because I'm terrible for starting the series and not seeing it through, so that will be something I prioritise in 2020. As I mentioned before, read more Stephen King. I now have an entire Stephen King shelf. In fact, it's not even a shelf, it's like a shelf and a half of Stephen King books, and most of them are being gifted by you guys, like, amazing. So I did start 2019 by trying to read a Stephen King book a month. I want to try and do that again, so I have Dolores Claiborne on my January TBR, so that'll be my next read, I think, actually. I also want to read more middle grade, if you can believe it. I feel like there is so much middle grade out there that I have yet to read that a lot of people have loved, and I feel so behind in reading them that I'm going to try and make it a priority to get to the ones that have been hyped for a long time and has taken me a while to get to. There are also quite a few new 2020 releases that I really want to read myself. I have been getting more and more ARC copies of upcoming middle grades that I really want to prioritise as well and be able to read and review ahead of release date. I mean, considering that I will be doing a mini Believathon in May and Believathon 2.0 in November, it'll be very achievable to do that. Going off on middle grade, I do want to read more sci-fi. That has always been the genre that I have been the least comfortable with, but the sci-fis that I've been reading I've been really enjoying. So I mean, it's about time, right? And I've been getting so many great sci-fi recommendations, and I have quite a few in my collection now, so I am going to try and get to those. I also want to keep things organised in a spreadsheet more. I want to try and do more stats, because this is a little bit, well, not exactly last minute. I've been keeping record of how many pages I've been reading each month and my ratings, but I just want to be a bit more analytical. I do love spreadsheets. I love them so much. I used to do them with TV shows, and I used to put in all the episodes and the ratings of the episodes and what I rated the episode and the US viewers, and oh my god, I was an actual nightmare. I would put in photos, episode stills, episode guides. I was like making my own Wikipedia pages in spreadsheet. It was amazing, but I wasted so much time doing that because I have none of them anymore because my old laptop crashed. So, and I was watching about 80 television shows a week. 80 American scripted television shows a week. Obviously, 2020 Gavin has a different aesthetic. Bury my feelings in reading, as I always say. I do want to keep on top of my ARC copies, as I just mentioned, with my middle grade books, but I also get ARC copies for YA, and sometimes I request them for adult books as well, and I have a few that are coming out soon that I do really want to get to. It's just the fact of fitting it into a TBR is just so stressful and so hard, but I do want to prioritise that as well. I want to be able to ask for them and not worry that I'm not going to review them, so that I get a bit more of a better reputation for requesting and receiving ARC copies. So there is that. But most importantly, I do not want to bog myself down. I do not want to give myself too much stress about having to read certain things or have a certain amount of things read in a certain period of time. Nothing like that. So I probably will participate less in readathons. I probably won't do as many book clubs as I did, because I end up leaving it last minute and not enjoying the books as much as I think I would if I give them more space to breathe. I will participate in the big ones still, the ones that have been my absolute favourites, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm trying to focus more on reading what I enjoy and not force myself to read based on other things, you know? So there's that. So my 2020 channel goals. So as you already know, I've kind of rebranded with How to Train Your Gavin. Not strictly middle grade, but you know, it's middle grade led. It's my favourite kind of category. You know, I'm still a child at heart, and I love me a good middle grade book. So I will still be predominantly middle grade, but I will be reading a lot of YA and adult. I do love books across many different intended audiences. With subscribers, I don't have a goal. I feel like I found my community. I mean, of course, I will always welcome more and more new people. I absolutely love you guys, and just knowing that more people are seeing me is incredible. But I'm not setting myself a goal. If I underachieve, I will feel terrible, and if I overachieve, I will feel like an imposter. So I'm just not putting any numbers to it. I am just live and laugh. I'm just gonna put out the videos that I enjoy making, and if you guys love it, that's great, and if you want to subscribe, awesome. Genuinely so happy to have you. But it's okay, like genuinely this isn't a numbers game. So I'm just gonna go with the flow, you know, see what happens. So I don't have any more weekly reading vlogs, sorry. Those were some of my favourites to make, but also so very stressful, and I always felt a lot of pressure on myself to try and be entertaining. I was just being myself in my vlogs, but I would always feel like if I didn't do much in that week, I would feel really, really bad about that vlog, and I would not want to put it out. But 2020, it's going to be different. I will have my themed vlogs like I did with Cozy Little Readathon, and just kind of like if there's something big that's coming out that I'm excited for, or if I think something exciting is going to happen in that week, I will vlog it. But I'm just not doing the whole weekly thing anymore, which is a heartbreak, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, because like there's some of my favorite videos, but it's just I don't know, like we'll see about that, okay? Like at the minute I'm still working full time a bit, so and breathe. And I really also want to see more of my booktube friends this year. I'm still going to be traveling to people and hanging out with them, because it's been some of my favorite things to do in 2019. So my favorite moments was going out and meeting my booktube friends. Yeah, I want to do that more in 2020, so that is my goal. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's all of my 2019 reading stats and my 2020 channel goals. There isn't a whole deal more to say on that front, just that I am just here on booktube because I am really passionate about books and I love it. And whether my channel stays stagnant or whether it grows, it's still a space where I can upload a video and chat to you guys, which is the most important thing for me. Also, one last thing, not use copyrighted material, not use copyrighted music would be phenomenal. I'm going to try not do that at all. So yeah, that was my 2019 reading stats and 2020 goals. I hope you enjoyed. If not, that's fine. Please leave a like if you did, and subscribe if you want to join the gang. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Bye.